Hello
Hello.
and welcome
Hello.
to the Game Awards
Is it
episode.
me?
That is you that I'm looking for.
I can see it in your eye.
Merry Christmas, everybody. That was a tribute to Dylan. Oh, we got
And we
audio.
have
Audio's
audio.
sexy. We're off to the races. Merry Christmas, everybody. We are 12 days away from Christmas. Oh my God, the 12 days of Christmas are upon us.
Are you guys ready?
Are you kidding me?
Not at all.
Actually, yes. This has been a super awesome lead into Christmas compared to the last few years for me, because the last couple Thanksgivings have always for me occurred have occurred at like almost the last day in November, in my opinion. So it's shrunk that time that you can prep from for Christmas, and I feel like it's been, this one was a little bit earlier. Maybe even just by a couple days, but the perception feels like it was a lot earlier. So we've had this sort of Christmas window, got all the shopping done, just need to wrap it, which is obviously one of the more painful things. But man, we're just coasting into Christmas. I can't wait.
Coasting in, bro.
My wife is so on top of it. She's like got
Love it.
plans, got it. She's got like stuff ordered, things in the mail, and I am not.
Yeah, I'm
I'm the
underneath
worst.
of it.
I'm shop on New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve.
I missed it entirely. Wow. I'm a shop on Christmas Eve kind of guy. At least I used to be.
You're the reason why stores have to be open, huh?
I'm getting much better. Hey, I work on every Christmas Eve, so I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. So you force that pain onto others.
Exactly. If I have to go through it, they do too.
It sounds very healthy.
I have a healthy mindset. You should try it.
Dylan,
Yeah. Yes.
you ready for your holiday?
No, I'm underneath it like Kyle. I usually go. I'm planning to go this weekend. That's what me and my parents usually do. We go like a week before and do like a big shopping.
So do you
Day
know what you
out.
get? Like if you go with your parents?
Yeah. So what happens is we
sound
all
like we're fucking kids. Oh, good.
Yeah.
I know what I'm gonna get.
we all go together, and then like after we've seen stuff, then we're like, okay, we're gonna separate, and we'll meet back in like 30 minutes or whatever, and then that
Okay.
way it's still a surprise, but that way we know we have a better idea of what the person actually
Dude, I do
wants.
everything online. Everything online.
I usually buy a lot on Amazon just because you can gift wrap it for $5.
Yeah, my wife.
It's
We pull
easy.
up a spreadsheet of all the people we need to get gifts for. We set a budget for them, and then we set what the actual price of the items that we were going to get them, and then we see if there's room to play. If like we were under budget, we get another item or something so to complement it, and it worked fantastically well. Amazon, I love them.
My wife will casually buy things throughout the year, and she has a lot of patience. So like just
Throughout the year?
No way.
That's
Yeah.
smart.
Can't
See,
do
I
it.
wish I did
if
that.
she sees something that says this would
Then
be
you have to
great,
store it.
yeah. If she sees
Yeah.
something that she thinks this would make a great Christmas present, she goes, "Why not?" Buys it, and then she's very good at keeping things.
I don't know how
stored
you
and-
keep track at that point.
Yeah, she's never missed a present. Like people do that sometimes, and they'll like be like,
misplace it.
Find it in 2 years.
"Yeah," I'm like, "Oh, I was supposed to give this to you a while ago." Like she's
Yeah.
never done that.
Wow.
She's very good about it.
It's impressive. You're lucky.
It's more than I have done, especially before we got married. I would literally I'm not even
Christmas Eve.
joking. I'm not even joking. I would get off work, and I worked right next to the mall, so I would walk over to the mall and just start buying presents,
Wow.
and that would be it.
You're like, oh man, they're out.
I'm like,
Oh.
what are the odds that they'd be out of every good
How
thing?
could they do this to me?
Didn't they know I was coming?
Can't trust it anymore. All right.
What's
Well,
wrong with America?
the Game Awards happened. What was it? Last week on Thursday,
Yeah.
Sure did.
the 8th or something like that. Man, it was a lot. It was long.
Yeah, it was like
4.5 hours. or
There was a
something.
lot of
Yeah.
announcements.
There was a lot of announcements. We actually should get into those as well because
We are. I mean, I think we've made our feelings known on the nominees and stuff, but we could talk about it. But a lot of cool stuff.
exciting stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of cool stuff got dropped.
So we're gonna go through the awards here and just kind of touch on the ones that we care about. Obviously, we're gonna save Game of the Year for last, but Elden Ring won 4 awards, and God of War won 6, right?
Yep.
So it's pretty even. I know, obviously, it's 2 more, but it's still a pretty even split between the two
which was
notable
Titans.
games of the year.
which was to be expected.
Yeah.
The competition wasn't too stiff this year. It was really only the two.
Yeah, it was. I'm not sure where people are getting like, this game is Genshin Impact is leading the fan vote for game of the year. I'm not sure because I kept seeing like statistics on that, like it's actually got the most. But was that like each wave or something?
Well, they're talking about
It was a different category.
It's called Player's Choice, and it's completely 100%. Like I think it's unregulated voting.
Yeah.
So you just like it's a poll, and people can vote. And then I think critics also weigh in.
It's not purely the fans that vote
Yeah.
for it.
Okay.
I'm not sure the weighting system, but I would imagine like maybe a critic's weight is 2 points versus a regular person has 1 point.
Yeah.
Who knows? However,
Yeah.
I think ultimately they decided well because they agreed with me. So game direction went to Elden Ring. That's cool.
Yeah.
I think
Miyazaki
came on there. Best narrative.
makes
God
sense.
of War. I mean,
Deserved it
Can't
for
beat
sure.
it.
the only one. What was Elden Ring even in that? They
was.
were. I remember that.
We were
did a
kind
whole
of like
thing about
saying that's the one where we were like, that doesn't really, narrative.
Yeah.
It's
We
got
did the whole thing
lore,
with
but it
lore.
doesn't have narrative. Yeah.
it. Best art direction, which I didn't think they were going to win this one. That's
did.
interesting. What?
I did. I think I say that now. We're gonna play it back, and I'm like, no way. But
Yeah,
I feel like that one didn't surprise me.
I thought you were pretty adamant about this going to God of War when we played it back because we kept getting hung up on the technical achievement.
Well,
piece.
no, actually, now that I think about it,
Or did we say Horizon?
We were
actually?
talking about animation.
we weren't talking. I
We were
said
talking about
because
Horizon,
I very
actually.
clearly remember saying if it's all art direction, like the title suggests, then Elden Ring wins. And then you brought up the fact, like, well, if you read it, it says achievement in artistic design and animation. And so we started talking too heavily about the tech,
Yeah.
and then I started talking about Horizon.
Yeah, that's exactly
Because I was
how it
like,
went.
you could literally like zoom
peach
in
fuzz.
and see the peach fuzz on her
Yeah.
cheeks, but that's not
Interesting.
what it was.
No.
It was literally art direction, which Elden Ring has some pretty good artistic visuals.
Yes. So that's exciting. Score and music.
That's fair.
Loved it.
Bear
Yeah.
McQuarrie's soundtrack is so
I mean,
good.
they played it at the Game Awards, and it sounded awesome.
How about that mashup at the end where they played like
Were they
That
all
was
of them?
that was
so
kind of
good.
neat.
I was
It flowed so well that you didn't.
Yeah.
You all of a sudden you're like, oh, that is Elden Ring's title
Mhm.
music.
yeah,
Super amazing stuff.
so good.
Audio design, thank God. Hey, Call of Duty didn't win a single thing, and I'm very grateful for that. We can get into that
I'm
later,
very grateful.
but that's cool. Audio design. So, like, is that? So obviously, audio is like always like under. I'm glad that it's an award, but like I think it's underappreciated in
Mhm.
terms of like its impact on a
Yeah.
game. So, what you guys both played it? Obviously, what was it like? Well balanced audio that you could hear things in the distance and it had like a nice draw. It felt like it was far away or it felt like it was behind you, or was it just like the actual audio cues and noises that they had implemented into the game that felt?
It's one of those
felt
things
good.
that's hard to explain, but like you just play and it just sounds right.
Yeah.
Like everything is just like everything
Nothing took you out
sounds
of
the
it.
way it should. Like, I mean, let's be real here. When you played in Elden Ring, every single hit against
Yeah.
like a piece of metal, ting,
Yeah.
like
There's
that's
no
you could feel the weight to it.
And I mentioned it when we were going through voting. The sound of when Kratos catches the axe or the blades.
satisfying.
It's a really satisfying sound.
Yeah. Best performance and longest speech of all time.
He killed it though.
Did he? Was
Was
it?
it
Yeah.
performance? Yeah.
No, the performance. But this, I thought you were talking about the speech.
No.
Everyone like
That was
hyped him
Al
up. They're like, it
Pacino.
was an epic speech, and I was like, what?
Him and
Was
Al
it that
Pacino
epic?
up there. Al Pacino couldn't read the teleprompter.
Dude,
I,
it was kind of bad there for a little. I was like, dude, get off the stage, please, Al.
Al Pacino's just like an old guy that gets a pass for life because of his resume.
Yeah. Well, and I think he was very honest about why he was there, and I thought actually his take on gaming was like very accurate. What a lot of people identify with. So,
Right.
I just felt like this guy's what's his name, Christopher
Christopher Judge.
Judge. His speech was far too long. I thought it was
I didn't
actually
mind.
kind of rude for the other people because they were trying to get it under a certain amount of time. They actually, I don't even think they had it ready to play this music, and then they actually like found a way to do it to get them off. It was like at least 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Well,
very long.
I didn't really notice too much.
I
but
was spamming
the
you
only
guys.
time I notice is when like then they start playing the music and then it makes it click. Oh, I guess he has been
Talking for
talking
a while.
but you know,
I didn't think it was
this is a
bad.
big deal.
I didn't think
Yeah.
I'm okay with him kind of living in it for a little bit. It's not a big deal to me.
it is.
I'm happy for him too because he didn't win this for the first one. Yeah, he got beat out by Roger Clark from Red Dead 2. So I'm glad that he had his moment.
And he put his heart and soul into Kratos. Like
Yeah.
those scenes.
Well, for me, I think you want to reserve that time to like the big awards.
Well,
This
see-
is a big award, but it's not game of the year. It's not.
Well, I would say this is like in the top 3.
Yeah, because it's you
Yeah.
know, and a real
Yeah.
person.
Yeah. I don't know. I just felt like as someone that, is sort of like not way into this guy,
Mhm.
I was like, all right.
I get what you're
let's-
saying.
Yeah, and I mean, part of the reason I was more okay with it is award shows. I just have this
Yeah.
instant thing of, oh, they're gonna go up there and they're gonna talk for. I don't
Yeah.
care how long. I'm just gonna tune out.
I will say his story, like he did get into like some stories like how he started, and it wasn't like this. Like he didn't get up there and start spewing like politics or some ideology. It was like kind of why he
For a
what he worked on and why
voice
he's there.
actor / motion capture actor, this is the Oscar of that world. So, if he's going to live in that, then that's fine. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
We got games for Impact. We didn't even play any of these.
Nope.
I don't think.
I didn't play As Dust Falls.
wait, go back.
We gotta go back.
I looked up Citizen Sleeper. It looks all right.
I did download. Is it? I don't even think it's on here. I downloaded that concert thing, the Sky app. Did you guys see that?
Yeah,
They kept promoting, and then I fell asleep.
with Aurora.
I didn't get a chance to. It took too long to like kick off, but it was
No.
kind of a interesting concept to say the least.
Live concert together.
There you
Best
go.
ongoing
Final
Final
Fantasy.
Fantasy.
You were shocked with that one?
Mhm.
No, I thought. Well, so here's the thing. So I thought this should have been Fortnite. Just in
That's
my
what I
opinion.
thought I remember you saying, yeah.
But a Final Fantasy definitely deserves. I mean, they continually come out with content.
Yeah.
It's like
And didn't they do like a huge turnaround from when it first came out and like
It was one of those recovery stories that didn't launch very well. And then
which is tough for a title in this space.
yeah. But they did put their heart and soul to fixing it and
Mhm.
making it what people wanted.
Yeah. But no, it makes sense that I could see these three, Fortnite, Genshin Impact, and Final Fantasy winning that. Destiny 2 actually had some big changes this year too.
Yeah.
Apex, all of them definitely deserve to be in this conversation. I think
Yeah.
this is actually
It's
a
a good
very
pool.
well-rounded, Final 5 candidates. I don't think Apex did enough because they have their cycle, right? It's like come out with a new map, they make some tweaks to PvP, the how the rank system works, and then it's to be expected. They don't really come out with like all these new they're not changing the game. Destiny 2 changed their game
Yeah.
this year, like changed a lot of the core mechanics. Final Fantasy pushed out. I think they had one major expansion this year, and I think like a lot of like living story content as well.
Right.
Fortnite, it seems like every 2 months they got some kind of crazy ass weird update.
The transition to Unreal 5 and Fortnite, it's like, holy shit. I've never seen a
I
game
saw that.
get bumped so
It's
hard.
crazy.
So I posted. Let's talk about that right now because I posted that we get to mention it on the podcast too. But just look at how the lighting completely
Yeah.
changes that game. None of the actual art none of the art assets, and from what I saw in that video presenting it, changed. It was just the lighting and how it interacted and how it illuminated.
That's
rooms.
enough to make it totally feel like a different thing.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And I guess it's a little bit of a performance hit, but they're still targeting 60 FPS on console on the next gen console. So
Yeah.
I think, man, that's going to be really exciting.
Unplayable.
Yeah,
120
Literally
FPS or nothing.
unplayable. Best indie, Stray.
That makes sense
obviously.
to me. Well,
Yeah.
I could have seen it going to Sifu, but Stray definitely had a bigger cultural impact than
Yeah,
I
Sifu
was just
did.
say it just seemed like everybody was hyped on this, and I had never really. I don't like cats, and I just not interested in playing a game that
You allergic to virtual cats?
I am. But actually looked like a kind of an interesting concept for a game.
It's fun.
Yeah,
I liked
fun.
it. It was one of those games you could just play to relax.
Yeah, and I mean, like it feels like gamers and cats like they go hand in hand.
This
Best
one,
mobile game.
We
I
voted
agree.
for Marvel Snap because but
It's amazing because no microtransactions besides like they're sticking to it. It's only cosmetic and it doesn't change the game at all, and it's just a fun game.
I would have thought Diablo Immortal. I mean, they
Yeah,
had
you
the
guys not
best-
have phones?
They, I watched some content. I don't remember who published this, but they talked about that scene in particular, and that was one of the last times because the guy who said that apparently was a actual developer, like he was a background developer, and
Did he get
that
fired?
is- I have no idea what actually happened with him, but that is why almost never do we have the actual developers come out on stage anymore. It's always a PR trained rep. That like that one incident.
I mean that's a PR thing.
Change.
So why wouldn't they?
Well,
do
because
that.
it would be.
Well, but then
So I understand why they do it from like a marketing standpoint.
Not
'cause you
everybody
want
could be Steve Jobs.
it. Right.
You know what I mean?
But I also like there's something. So Guild Wars 2 does like a Twitch live stream every Friday. They used to. I don't know if I think they still do it. And you get to see like the devs behind the scenes. And it's such a cool way because that passion pours through. Like
Yeah.
I used to love when they had the graphic designers come on because they would just talk about the art style and like what they're trying to go for and like what their goals are. And that passion bleeds through. You're not going to get that from a PR guy. A PR guy is going to go up there, say his talking points and see you later.
Yeah.
But like when you're talking to someone who's building it and they're really excited about the project, there's there's something special.
I think
about
you need
that.
to pick and choose when you're going to do that. Then though, I don't think that a game announcement is the right place.
especially
That should be more of an intimate, let's get to know the game situation to have the developer. But like if you're announcing
do
a
a
game in
Q&A.
front of a crowd, these people they go to school and they trained and they practice for that very specific thing.
Yeah.
And if they had a PR person up there, they wouldn't have been memed to shit with well, you guys don't have phones? Because they would know, like, all right, this is how I'm going to have to counteract this crowd.
Yeah.
But there is, a good, I mean, there is reasons to have those people, but it needs to be in a different setting. Like,
Yeah.
the game's already been announced, we're excited, and then a week later they have a live stream with the
Here's your
developers to
first-
talk about
first
the
look.
game. First look, that makes much more sense to me than on a grand stage. The Game Awards, like, what,
Yeah.
you guys don't have phones?
It's an iconic moment in the history of gaming for sure. But there is just something that I love watching, like when you get somebody on the ground building it and that passion pours through and then they have some ability to articulate that passion. I could get so
Yeah,
jacked from
I've
that.
been-
Way more than a trailer when they're like, we got so many cool features and it's real. It's not like he's not just reading that, it's like you could see he's just excited that he or she or whatever building this together. And you're like, oh man, you're like, I want to be a part of it. I want to play this game. So
I've been watching all the God of War, the director, all his like interviews. And
Yeah.
it's just same reason I like the Raising Kratos one is it's so cool to see a little frame into that world.
yeah, and it just
They have a
just
passion
gushing.
that can't be faked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, Marvel Snap, go check it out. It's a great game.
So this one's interesting. So like this was presented by Discord. Shout out Discord. Recognizing a game for outstanding community support.
I'm so glad No Man's
transparency.
Sky didn't win.
Well, it's kind of. I don't remember.
So,
I'm not
it's your
sure
arch
what we-
enemy.
Yes.
I'm not sure what we ended up voting for this, but I thought it was kind of an
It's
interesting.
similar
concept.
to the best ongoing category for me, so it makes sense that they would
I
have won
think we
both.
voted Fortnite.
probably.
We probably voted Fortnite.
But this makes sense because like the Reddit community and like the forum community for this game is.
I might have said
insane.
No Man's Sky to piss Dylan off, but
Probably. Innovation. Let's. Okay. I'll let you two battle it out. I'll go on mute.
I'm not gonna battle it.
Yeah.
I think it was more contentious in your memory than it actually was.
Oh, it was pretty heated, man.
Heated.
You were so adamant about Quarry.
For the sake of discussion, if we all just agreed on everything, how boring would that be?
Just God of War, yeah. But yeah, I'm happy it won. I think
I'm
it
okay
is
with that.
very inclusive. All those games, it's awesome to have such an inclusive gaming environment.
Hopefully this sets a precedent for developers in the future
Mm-hmm.
to think about that, you know.
All right. How much are you paying him to keep him quiet?
$20. Here you go, Kyle.
Best VR. I don't know any of these.
I didn't play any of them.
Yeah.
Although Red Matter 2 I'd seen.
I think that's the one we voted for because you said you saw it or something.
Yeah.
But I have no experience with it.
Best action game Bayonetta 3.
Bayonetta 3,
I was surprised on that one.
despite the controversy,
Yeah.
They're coming out with Origins now.
it was pretty fun actually.
Yeah.
It's a different studio doing Origins though, right?
Yeah.
Not Platinum
It's-
Games, it's a different one.
I don't think it's
No, the
Platinum
one
Games.
doing the
new one.
spin-off Origins game.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the studio, but action adventure God of War makes sense. Best role playing Elden
Should have
Ring
been,
makes sense.
Not Elden Ring.
Multiverses makes sense.
We actually voted for a different one, didn't we?
Sifu.
I think we.
I think we voted for Sifu. Well, no, because I remember us having a discussion like, is that actually a fighting game or is that an
Yeah.
action game?
True.
Because these are all side-scrolling fighting games, and then Sifu.
It's like 3D.
Yeah, like you fight in the game, but it's more of an action game. It's not a fighting game.
Multiverses like peaked really hard, like Fall Guys did when it came out,
Yeah,
and
because
then
of
it kinda fell
Shaggy
off.
and all the memes.
I was happy. That's the first time Kirby's won
Ever?
ever.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
So he's earned it. And that game was fun.
We
I really
voted
did
Lego
enjoy that
Star
game.
Wars, I think,
It's
Yeah.
just not a bad
but that's
Lego
fine.
game. So Mario. for
That's the
best
one we
sales
voted, I
strategy.
think.
Yeah, I think because we didn't know, we were like, well, Mario's the classic, so
Yeah, I don't even own a Switch.
Of course.
Gran Turismo.
I'm pretty sure we said Gran Turismo.
Yeah, nobody should vote for FIFA or NBA.
Never. I think we did that one. Or F1 one. of the two.
Multiplayer.
Dude, Splatoon 3, I can't believe that one. Like over
What
these.
did we vote? Did we vote
Probably
Teenage Mutant
Overwatch.
Ninja
I
Turtles?
think we.
I feel like I remember voting Teenage Mutant Ninja
Did we?
Turtles
Maybe.
because we didn't have a real, dog
Or
in the
maybe
fight.
we did Call of Duty actually. I don't remember.
Maybe I don't.
Not that it should have won that. Content Ludwig.
I don't remember giving a shit about.
I think
No
we voted
offense.
for him because he was the only one that we recognized.
I like Ludwig, so I think that's why we voted for him.
Best debut indie, Stray. That's awesome.
There's a different category for debut indie
Yeah,
and
so
indie.
what's the difference?
I think it's their first indie game, right?
So okay, so
Oh,
one is just
new.
overall indie, and then this is their
Yeah.
first indie. A new independent
Kind of a
studio.
weird.
Okay.
You're absolutely right though.
Why are there two categories around indie?
If you won, yeah, if you win this one, then your game should win
It should by
Best indie
default.
then,
So maybe just
well,
remove.
I guess not really, but
I
yeah,
don't know.
I don't know. Best adaptation, Arcane. Hey, I called it, man.
I was
thought
a
this was
little
bigger.
salty about this one.
Yeah, I
this
think it
is the
should've
only.
gone
This is the
Cyberpunk.
only one where I was like,
I think it's because you guys are both way more bought into like the cyberpunk world than you are League of Legends. But
well,
Just
Arcane.
knowing-
You don't have to be into League
Yeah.
of Legends. I like Arcane. I thought it was good, and I felt like you could easily be into it without playing the game. But I mean, I like Cyberpunk more. so
yeah,
that's,
and I think honestly, you could have watched Edge Runners without playing the games.
Yeah.
But the community of League of Legends is enormous
Yeah.
and vocal, and I just knew that.
I
was
still
gonna
laughed
win.
at Uncharted.
Dude,
Like
people
it thought it
shit
could
all over
compete.
it. They were like, basically, as long as this one doesn't win.
Yeah.
I was like, that was the.
I kind of like
response.
that movie. I'm not gonna
Yeah?
lie. Yeah,
I
think
haven't
was
seen
bad.
it.
it was like if you like National Treasure, it's like the
exactly
same
what it
thing.
felt like.
It's not like it was bad.
Was
And
it
I honestly
Uncharted?
don't even think that Mark Wahlberg was that bad either. He was just kind of there, it wasn't like he ruined the movie or anything.
Most anticipated game.
Legend of Zelda. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Legend. Okay, so let's talk about this one for a second. I didn't know Elden Ring won most anticipated game
Twice
for the
in a row?
last 2 years. I didn't know that.
Really?
And
I think you got on the hype train a little later.
I definitely
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is like, because I thought that there was reasonable hype for the game, but I didn't think it was to oblivion.
Yeah.
Winning that contest, I mean, what did Cyberpunk do for 10 years straight? Did they win that award? No, just kidding.
They might have won it once, but definitely not.
But like to have that level of anticipation and hype going into the game, and then still somehow over deliver, even more impressive for Elden Ring. Pretty
We actually
wild.
voted for Hogwarts Legacy, I think. I think
I think we did.
made a case for it, even though we knew Legend of Zelda
We
was
knew.
going to win.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
we're,
Considering that Breath of the Wild is voted the greatest game in the history of gaming, so
well, I don't know if that's a title is a little hefty. I don't know if I
IGN
agree with that.
IGN has an. Oh, I don't agree with it at all.
All time.
That's, I mean,
Remember
it's
we
a,
made fun of it though.
yeah, it's a good, oh, that's right. Because
Yeah.
the top 100 games of all time.
And Breath
They
of the
did say
Wild
in the
is-
beginning that they were like, this is a living, breathing list and it can be adapted and mended as our understanding of gaming evolves. Like whatever weird shit they were saying.
Be interesting to see where Elden Ring falls in that now, but yeah. Best esports game, Valorant. I called that one. I think. These ones are just, I think, too old. Valorant came onto the scene. They had their championship event, and it's just, I mean, Riot Games is crushing this list. I mean, you've got Valve, which has the staples of like Dota and CS:GO,
Yeah.
but Riot, I mean, between League and Valorant, I think League of Legends is still the largest esport from like a viewership standpoint.
And they
Those
got the best
championships-
adaptation too. So Riot's
Yeah.
top of the world right now.
Fuck, dude. And they to me are one of the best developers right now because the content, like the games that they push, are polished. They feel so good. Like the servers on Valorant, like because to be a true like CS:GO and Valorant and stuff like that, we talked about this I think maybe a year ago on the podcast. They have these like extremely high tick rate servers, like 64 or 124 ticks per second or something. And I don't really fully understand, but that's basically how fast you sync with the server. Compare that to Warzone, which I think is 12 ticks a second or 12 whatever that actually means. You have like almost 10 times the amount of syncing that's going on. It just feels so like there's never like I shot that guy like in Valorant or even CS:GO. Like it's what happened actually happened. It's actually really impressive.
Not in my experience.
Just kidding. Have you ever played Valorant?
No, that's why I'm
Have
joking.
Have you
No.
ever played Valorant? It's
You tried to get us into it at one point. I remember that.
yeah, I enjoy it, but it would never be a game that I spent more than 50, 100 hours in. So it's really tough to like. That game is built to be competitive,
Yeah.
and I
Can't play.
honestly try. I honestly think
Can't keep up.
no. I
Can't,
just try to stay away from like.
Can't get good.
There's something that happened like with CS:GO. CS:GO and Valorant very similar in terms of like their style. There's something that I don't like about overly extremely balanced games.
Yeah.
I just don't like that. I feel like because then it comes down to pure skill and that's great, but like
You don't have
getting better and better is more difficult to identify versus if there's things that have like a wider skill gap between like bad players and good players in terms of now I'm not saying that Valorant in these games they definitely have a huge skill gap, but in terms of like what you can do to get better, because in these games it's just holding angles and memorizing maps and knowing that when you're standing in this section you're exposed to this, and it's a lot of that stuff versus like a game that like Apex Legends, for example, where it's you can get good at your accuracy, your movement, how you loot, what you're looting, how you play a changing circumstance. Like it's always evolving and changing, and how you can get better. These games have a very linear path in how you get better. It's map knowledge, it's holding angles. knowing exactly where the cursor needs to be so that if you peek this and there's a guy there, you're going to be right on his head.
Right.
It's that stuff, and I don't typically like those kinds of games where that is what makes you get better.
You almost hit the water into the laptop.
Hell yeah.
Stream would have ended
Fuck
real
the laptop.
fast.
We got banned immediately. Don't talk. Oh, let this guy talk.
Jacob, yay.
Yeah, I don't think we knew any of these. This one and the coach, right? Best esports
Esports
team.
team.
I actually didn't see this one coming. We voted for Dark Zero because I thought their story was cooler. I didn't see this one coming, so shout out loud. That's cool.
Cool.
Esports coach.
Coach,
We had no idea. Best esports event.
We-
Obviously, the
We
league.
saw
Knew
that
it.
happening.
I think, yeah, I might have said that this one was bigger. At least it might have been bigger just from a viewership standpoint. But
Well, you were
I
mad
think I
they
was
didn't
wrong.
have that one.
I was mad they didn't have ALGS because that was, at least in my world. Oh my god, dude.
That's it.
It's really cool. So let's talk about game of the year.
Game of
Let's
the year
Let's talk about
went
game
to
of the year.
Stray.
Wow.
How do you feel?
I feel
Could you imagine
meow.
if it had won?
Dude,
or
no.
Sonic?
Or Sonic? Oh,
It's not even
God.
on there.
It somehow wins.
They would render them like the Game Awards would render themselves like pointless. I guess that's what the Oscars do. Sometimes you're like, that was the best, and then it's like,
Yeah.
I'll never forget the one year this movie called The Artist won.
The silent
It's
film.
a silent film. I don't even know a
You're
single
just
person
not
in
an
my life.
artist. You can't
I didn't
under-
know anyone in my life that had even heard of that movie, let alone seen it. And it was like, how is this winning the best picture of the
Well, yeah,
year?
and like Endgame or Infinity War.
They never win any of that stuff.
No. Even
And
though
it's like-
to me that was like
So impactful.
impactful.
They're not looking for cultural impact in the same way that Game of the Year is. You know,
Well, they need to
and
get the old group of people out of there and get some new talent.
They have been slowly, but for a while there was a bunch of the same 80-year-old.
I went back when I watched Charlie Chaplin.
He reminded me of me.
But yeah, I think Elden Ring winning Game of the Year, there's some contention around that because it's a pretty strong fan base on both sides, but I think this is a very fair win. More than justified. You can make a case for both those games, but that being said, it's really hard to deny the impact that Elden Ring had on the
Yeah.
gaming community as a whole. Like people, I think you mentioned this last time we were talking about this, Will. People who had never even heard of Dark Souls all of a sudden were like talking about Elden Ring. Like it had
People
broke
who
the
didn't
barrier.
Game. We're like, what?
Yeah.
What is this game that I see all over the internet?
The
Like,
last time
the
I saw a
content
game-
created.
The last time I saw a game that had this big of a cultural impact was probably like Red Dead 2. When Red Dead 2 came out, that had the same kind of thing where like it was in TV shows and everyone
Yeah.
was talking about
Yeah.
it. And so I'm happy with that.
GTA 6 will have the same impact when that comes
Yeah,
out.
I mean, I don't want to get into that. But
No, absolutely the content that was it almost felt like this game came out the first couple months of like when COVID lockdowns occurred. Like that's how big the impact I felt was because
well, it came out like 2 years after COVID happened.
Yeah.
no, I know that's what I'm saying. It felt like it did that. Like everyone was only playing this game
Oh.
Yeah.
100% of the time. That's how
I get
big it
you
was
now.
because it was like I could be on Twitter and it wasn't like, oh, for you this is trend. It was like it was just the thing that was trending. People like sports shows I'm watching talking about, oh, Elden Ring is so great. I'm on this boss, and coworkers who had never played a single player game in their life all of a sudden picking up Elden Ring to
Yeah.
play it. It's like, wow, this is wild.
And then before
Yeah.
Red Dead, I think maybe Skyrim.
Yeah.
Which is like 10 years ago
Yeah.
now. Was the last time a game had that
incredible,
impact?
absolutely incredible. And I'm so excited that it won because I want to see more games like it.
There'll be no games like it unless it's Elden Ring 2. Like FromSoft, they just do it better. Like they have a very, very
You don't
strong
think-
grip on what they do, and they
Yeah.
do it very
Well-
well. Other games try it, and some of them do pretty good, but it's never just quite the same.
I don't think it'll have the same like impact right away, but I think there's a lot of improvement that can occur.
And as far as impact, who knows? Zelda,
Well,
huge influence.
Yeah,
on
I'm
Elden
thinking
Ring.
of like challenge, tough but fair, and like open world design. It's you could actually say that Elden Ring took a lot from Zelda,
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild, but they pretty much stopped with like open world approach is where they took from Breath of the Wild. Then everything else was like clearly them.
Yeah.
Like they really mastered the way they approached the RPG.
Yeah, I just feel like I hope that this game inspires like other studios to because there's not much. I'm going to say this and sound like a fucking idiot. But like this game really showcases like being creative. We were talking about because we were playing Elden Ring last night. We were talking about like this is the best implementation of like verticality in any video game I've ever played. Like in every step, you could look off a cliff and there's probably like some underground dungeon that you
And
can fall into.
the only
and
games that
there's a
are in
fucking-
the same like echelon as like other Dark Souls games.
right.
Like,
And it's just in like the movement, the mechanics like are like feel kind of clunky for platforming and stuff. So like I still see so much. We were talking about it like a game. Imagine Elden Ring, but like with some kind of co-op experience, like a true built-in co-op experience. And I get that like if they start doing all these things, like maybe it takes away from like the
Losing their
core identity of the game. But let some other game do that. Let some other game create a style, create an open world, create some boss mechanics, but then make it a co-op experience where, you know, it's really you can play it solo and there's challenges and rewards with that, but it also scales with. I don't think I've played a co-op experience game where things get easier or more difficult depending. Well, I take that back. I have, but things get easier or more difficult based on how many players you've summoned in. Like I love that mechanic. I love that. You know, you join forces and you think, oh, it's going to be a breeze, and all of a sudden, oh, this boss is hitting it pretty hard. Oh, he's got a lot more health. Oh shit, we got to kind of.
perfect example of that was
Radahn.
I fought Radahn. I was like maybe like level 35, 30, 40, somewhere in that range. Fought him. I struggled a little bit, but I think I beat him on like my third try. And then Dylan hadn't got to Radahn yet. I was like, I'll summon in. It's fun. It took us like 12 tries to beat him because it was way harder.
It was like well over an hour because I was just like sitting there laughing at you guys because I was.
He
on
was
PC.
It was.
tough.
It
Yeah.
might have been more than 12. Maybe my memory's not serving
It
me right.
felt
It
like
just
more than 12.
um
I might have taken 12 just to get him to 50% because I remember you.
it
guys
was
were
Dylan's
struggling.
pride is what it was.
What?
Dylan's pride is what kept us from winning because he kept wanting to get that final hit and then he would die.
I wanted to help.
He kept
Oh, were you that under leveled? Or what do you mean?
Well, no, the how much
It
level
was-
up
it was
he was,
really
he
scaled
wiped
up.
me out.
This was before he got patched too.
Yeah,
this
he
was
was
first patch. This was first gen
full
Radahn.
Chad.
And so Dylan, he was like, he wouldn't be satisfied if he didn't like really help, you know? So like he kept like jumping in like a madman with his, you know, colossal greatsword.
Dude.
But if I remember right, you did get the last hit when we finally beat him because I was like, there's one left. And you're like, I got to do it.
Yeah.
and that's why I backed up.
I just have, I love that idea, like, because Elden Ring has sort of a toxic, well, not Elden Ring, Souls games have sort of a very toxic community. I think Elden Ring is the best version of that community. But, you know, of like, oh, you're summoning in. I have not really heard that rhetoric this game because of this, how the scaling works. And it's exciting to see that they implemented that solution for people who don't
The
wanna
one
play
I
that
hear the
game.
most is like, oh, you use a mimic. You didn't really
Yeah.
beat the game then. You know, like,
Yeah, and that's just moronic in my opinion.
like if it's a mechanic,
It's in the game.
it's not cheating to use a mechanic that's in the game.
So that alone makes the game way more approachable.
That's classic Souls community right there,
Yeah.
though.
But I there's something to be said about like a solo single player experience, but there's also something to be said about accomplishing goals with friends.
Mhm.
And if you're able to defeat bosses that are scaled up and appropriately, and it feels challenging still, and you're having fun, like I'm all for that. So I don't think honestly, like, you know, there's that seamless co-op mod for Elden Ring, but like I don't see Elden Ring ever fully implementing a system like that. Let some other game do it, and I think I hope the industry sort of identifies like, hey, we can have success using this model, and like let's create a game.
Oh,
that-
it'll
that-
happen.
I'm
Every time
excited.
there's a game that has this much of an impact for the next 10 years, they're like when Skyrim first came out, everything was it's like Skyrim with guns. It's like Skyrim, like everyone can, because they were all like wanted a piece of that pie.
Yeah.
So it's going to happen for
And
sure.
I mean, we've
That's a good point. with
Like-
Skyrim.
so Breath of the Wild inspired this a little bit, but you can see Breath of the Wild also inspired Genshin Impact. So I'm sure we'll see offshoots from this,
Yeah.
just the same way. It's the continuing evolution of this open world genre, open world exploration genre, which I love. By the way, I mean there's something special about not knowing what you're gonna find.
There's just something special about Miyazaki. Like
Mhm.
he's the only not the only one. A comparable developer I think would be like Kojima, but but like as far as like not compromising on his vision,
Mhm.
like even
To a fault.
even fantastic games, sometimes the developers compromises on certain things because of pressure on like wanting to deliver a certain product to meet the demands of whomever. But Miyazaki's like, he from the beginning, every game he's ever developed, he knows what he wants and he just does it. Like, who would ever think that some of the things that he's done would be successful? As far as like even just like design, boss design. It's so over the like imagine trying to pitch like Godric the Grafted to like a group of like investors. Like they go in, they fight this guy, and so he grafts these arms to him so that he can become stronger. And just think about a man, grotesque looking, with hundreds of arms. Halfway through the fight, he chops off his own arm. And he sticks the stub into the head of a dead dragon. Like they'd be like, "What the fuck is this guy doing?" But he does it, and you can't think about anything except, "Holy shit, this is epic!"
Yeah.
as it's happening.
That's what one of the things that impresses me the most about Elden Ring is the creative vision that they were able to apply to this game. Because obviously it took hundreds of people to create it, but it feels so on narrative. Like nothing feels like, oh, why is this that? This doesn't feel like it doesn't fit the game. Everything feels like
I think
it's
that's because
built
you have
for
no clue what the fuck is
Well,
going on.
that's a part of it, but like everything feels
Like-
so.
Billy, explain the snails.
The snails.
Yeah.
Well, that's the hardest boss in the game.
I love what's the boss snail called?
Oh,
Dude, so I don't know if
he's my favorite.
Yeah.
He's cast the spell.
casting.
He's in the
I don't
corner.
know if they patched this or something, but snails have like a frostbite. Have you seen that?
I'm not sure.
I was just playing the game and like I was fucking around with one of the snails, and I don't know if they patched this in because I certainly don't remember it. But like I got attacked by a snail and they either breathed or they did like almost like that Hora Lu frost stomp or
Yeah.
no, the axe frost stomp, whatever.
Roar stomp, is that what it's called?
Yeah, something like that. And
Horfrost? Horfrost?
yeah, something like that. But I'm like, when did they get this attack? So I think maybe they made them a little more applicable, other than just like you feeling bad for killing them. Dude, I'm telling you, like, I guarantee you, there's a whole ethos about why
snails.
they exist, dude. It's absolutely wild. I have played this game for nearly 200 hours. And I thought between the content I've consumed watching it, I thought I'd seen everything. Not even close. I'm doing 100% playthrough right now, following a guide. I have experienced 4 new areas that I had no idea existed. There's under Volcano Manor. There's
Like Altus Plateau. Just kidding, just
You ever
like
heard of it?
super obvious.
There's like an entire like underground area of Volcano Manor that has the Iron Maiden boss. You remember that? Like they have the saws as
Yeah.
arms, and then they open up and can grab you. There's a double Iron Maiden
Yeah.
boss, and it's a secret path that goes into Mount
You
Gelmir.
never went there?
I never went all the way down there. I had no
you have
idea.
that's
I never put in the stone key to get down there.
Well, don't you have to fight them when you take that shortcut in
In the speedrunning shortcut?
in the castle to go to lava?
I don't think so.
I think I
Wait.
had to.
No. That's Raya Lucaria Cat. No. You're thinking of Raya.
Yeah, when you get in the Iron Maiden and it shoots you over to the lava temple.
No, you don't have to fight the 2 bosses.
Oh, well, I fought
It-
him.
Oh,
You probably
that's
found
impressive.
Yeah.
but you probably found it, like
But
on
there's,
your own.
I didn't know, I had no idea that existed, that connected Mount Kilmere. There's like 2 or 3 other places, like one place in Limgrave, and I don't remember off the top. And then I'm like, Jarberg. I didn't even know that existed.
You didn't know Jarberg was
No?
I thought Alexander's, because you don't need to do that
to finish his
to
quest
finish
line?
his quest line.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just miss out on some of the girth of the quest line.
And I'm like, I'm doing this guide, and it's like, go to Jarberg. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I go down, and I'm like doing this very obscure pathing. All of a sudden, I'm down there, and there's like all these rare flowers, and I'm like,
Yeah, and then you talk
this
to
whole little sleeve,
the little
his,
jar-
his like nephew,
Jar Baron.
the
Yeah.
little jar baron, and then he goes off to like
Jer Bear.
he goes off to taking his I think it's his uncle's footsteps, and
Picking
he,
up his duties. Yeah.
yeah. Which what a Chad. Billy
Amazing.
never noticed because he's doing all of Alexander's quest line.
Uh-huh.
The part where he's just sitting in lava trying to temper himself.
Yeah. He's like, because I never followed a guide really for Elden Ring. I think I only followed.
I think Billy just runs straight for it. He doesn't pay attention
I did
to
run-
the
no, I-
environment.
On your
I've
very first
100%ed it.
playthrough.
I've
on your
100%ed. I have every achievement in.
Well,
Elden
you
Ring.
you can't deny on your first playthrough, you went from boss to boss to boss, but you weren't
Definitely.
doing the quest lines.
No, the only one
Except for
I
like
did,
Ronnie.
The only one I did follow a guide was Ronnie's, because I was like, I feel like this chick's important, and I'm gonna figure it out. But literally, all I did was like, Gideon told me you find the 6 bosses, and I just paid attention to what he said. If I got confused, maybe I did like a search.
Quest
whatever.
lines are super seamless and easy to follow in Elden Ring.
Yeah,
What were you
absolutely.
doing?
Did you do the
And
snake
also,
lady?
like by the time I beat it, there was no guide or help on
Not
jack
that side.
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
I beat it in like a week or something like that. It was nothing.
Did you do the snake lady?
He just found
I
out
just
that
found
she's a
out.
snake. He was like, "What?"
I never helped Raya, and I'm like doing it last night. Now I walked past her in Volcano Manor. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then she's like, tells me her Zalorius or something. I'm like, who are you? And it's like, it's Raya. I feel so bad. I just completed her quest,
What did you choose?
dude.
What did you do?
Oh
So
no.
here's the fucking thing: is I fucked up. So I went and killed Rykard, and then if you go and talk to her in the hidden room, and then I guess if you reload the area and then talk to her again, you get her like special item. But the item is you take double damage. It's a shit item that you'll never use for anything. But I killed Rykard, but didn't refresh the area, and she was talking about like she's like begging me to kill her. And I'm like, oh well, what the fuck? She's like kind of sad about the whole situation, and I'm like, well, I don't want her to be this sad, so I gave her the juice to forget, and then she fell into a sleep, and she's never gonna wake up.
You just gotta ignore her.
I know, I didn't know that, and then I'm like, and then I read online, I'm like, that can't be the end of the storyline. It's like, oh yeah, if you don't do anything, she gets happy again and like goes off on a second journey. And I'm
There's
like,
not a whole lot of quest lines that end
Yeah.
happy.
That's why I thought like, okay, she's gonna either off herself or yeah. I'm like, when I read that, I was so upset.
The only one that has a pretty solid ending is like Nefeli Lu.
Yeah.
Her ending is pretty solid, but like for the most part, there are no happy endings.
Patches is still unfinished, I think.
They'll never be patched.
Yeah. The last time you see him is in the Poison Castle.
Shaded Castle.
Yeah, and he's just like
Sad.
almost dead, and then that's it. And it's
Yeah.
like, what? Okay.
Millicent's is tragic, but also upsetting in that there's so little you can do to help it.
Well, no, he gives you an item. You go to the Rykard lady, and you can give it to her.
For patches?
Yeah, and then that's the end.
And then you reload. If you reload the area, I think you fight her Crucible Knight.
Isn't that only
Are
if
you
you
thinking
attack her?
Tanith?
Yeah,
Oh, if you attack her, do you fight him?
yeah.
Oh, is that it? I don't remember.
Maybe you just attack.
'Cause-
her.
Because she's consuming the Rykard,
Yeah,
right?
and if you give her the thing, she like remembers. She's like, "Oh, I remember this," and then that's
Oh.
like it.
Do you know the storyline that I'm really enjoying right now is Box? Or,
Box?
Did you ever complete
The
it?
Seamster?
Did you ever? Yeah.
Yeah,
Did
and you
ever
gotta
complete-
throw. Yeah, and you gotta throw that thing that says "I love you."
You're
You're
beautiful.
Oh yeah,
Beautiful.
you're beautiful. That's what it is.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, that's
He's
kind of
"Was
like a
that
nice touch.
My mother.
Yeah,
Like your
It's
mother
like-
sounded weird.
yeah.
The demi-human,
So-
which if you read the description, it says something about like some people have heard their mothers or something. Like it actually says that in the description of that
Well,
particular.
What's really cool is like Melina is super attached to Bach. Like she's always
Yeah.
keeping an eye on him, so she like talks to you at random times.
I'm doing box right now, and I just talked to him out at, like in Lernia when he's by that gate part. I gotta find the "you're beautiful" thing before I fucking make him depressed and he just dies.
You just can't do the burning the tree
Is that when he dies?
or tree. Yeah. Well, that's when it's too late because
Yeah.
then he either disappears if you didn't give him anything, or you have to give him the larval tear.
I keep having him like alter random pieces of gear just to keep.
If you
him-
give him the larval tear, doesn't he just die?
Yeah,
'Cause
he
he's
turns into human, but then he dies shortly.
He's a
after.
demi-human, so he can't contain
Well, you
magic.
have the rune, which allows you to be reborn. He doesn't,
Oh, that's what.
so
it is.
he is an imperfect rebirth.
Did you ever do Dung Eater's questline fully
I will not. I kill him every time in the sewer just
with
'cause he's
Salubus's
grossed out.
potion, or what do you? How do
No,
you kill
just-
him? Oh, you just kill
just
him.
fight
Kill him. I want to do his potion and make him a puppet, but I just kill him right away because I'm like, this dude fucking creeps me out.
Yeah.
Well,
I hate how he's always talking about defiling corpses.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
bruh.
dude. In his storyline, if you do it all the way through, like I am with this guide, it's fucking dark. Holy shit! You know the guy that sells like the boiled crab, dude.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like he fucking he does the stuff to him too, and it's like, what the fuck is this guy? I always thought he was like sick because I never, I just played the game 12 times. I didn't fucking follow
The
all
guy.
the quest lines, and it's like, holy shit!
I don't
man.
think that you can play the game the way you're playing until you like have unlocked a certain amount of things, and like there's so much you need that like it's very hard to play the game that you're playing right now on a first playthrough.
Mhm.
Almost impossible, I'd say.
The guide that I'm following, I would say, is very progressive. So it's not like, oh, go over to this area and then you have to like run. Like it's very, you build it out and then you kind of keep going back and forth. But
I mean, like if a newbie comes in, they jump into play it,
wouldn't
they
be
would
fun.
never play
It
it
would
like
be-
that.
yeah, I wouldn't.
There's no way you could figure
I wouldn't
that out.
recommend. It takes the exploration completely out of the game.
Yeah,
And like I think that's what's cool about Elden Ring is like
is the discovery.
you don't feel like even if you did miss a quest line, like you don't feel like, oh, you don't have like a lingering quest in your log. that
It
you're
goes
like-
on.
You don't even know about it. You know?
Those characters die.
Yeah, fuck it, whatever.
Bach is just gone.
But
I on my very first playthrough, I lost so many people just by not paying attention. Like,
it's so easy.
yeah,
It's like some of these characters. Raya, I think, has 5 locations. Hayeta has like 7. The one you keep feeding eyeballs to.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
There's characters that have been introduced that I didn't even know existed, like
The-
since the game came out.
The only 2 quest lines I successfully did on my first playthrough was Ronnie's and Sellen's.
Yeah,
And that one, after
I think
doing
that-
that
I
one,
did
that's
that
the
too.
first one that like fucked me up. Like, damn, because I helped her through the whole way, and I even fought the one dude, Jaren, is that his name?
Mhm.
Fought him with her, and then you go back, and she's just that mass of
yeah,
of
right.
people, and she's like, "Oh, my apprentice."
You're like, oh,
and you can still buy shit from her.
I need this.
Ooh, by
I
the
sided
way,
with Jaren on my last playthrough, but even Ronnie, like I thought I did it legit. I definitely missed a lot of dialogue options.
Yeah.
Like with Ronnie, Sylvanas gives you like a potion to make her a puppet, and he's like all excited. She one shots you when you try to give it to her. The puppet does. It's insane. It's like because I try to give it to her, and then I'm like trying to exhaust dialogue, and I talk to her like 3 times, and she's like, "Enough," and then you just die, and you're like, "Oh fuck!" And then you have to atone for your sins
Ronnie,
to fix that at the
who
Church
do you
of
think
Vows.
the most powerful being is in Elden Ring?
Melania, Radon.
No, I don't.
Malekith.
Just by the fact that we beat them means they can't, right? I'm talking like Ronnie.
The Elden Lord.
You think Ronnie's way more powerful than us?
I think so. The fact that she could just choose when you die in that
Yeah.
quest line.
Yeah.
And she can she's pretty powerful. You think she might be a boss
And like a
in a
DLC.
DLC somehow, some way?
I don't know. Me and
You
her.
fight every other fucking person.
That would be kind of a bummer if she was.
Yeah. Well, think of all the fan fiction out there that people would
Put her
creep
in a
out about.
jar.
Yeah.
Blue cunny.
The blue cunny.
No.
I would like to see a jump backwards in time DLC.
Shattering.
Maybe fight some bosses in the shattering. I'd like to see a prime Radon where he's not all rotted out in the brain.
Dude.
That'd be kind of interesting.
That'd be cool.
I don't know how they would write that into the lore because he would have to win if it.
Dude, I'd love to see Melania's brother. What is it, Mikola?
Mikola, he will be in
Dude.
the DLC. There's no way.
He has recorded lines or something.
Yeah.
What about a double boss? Him and Melania.
Melania.
And but you don't fight them at the same time because everybody hates that. You fight them one at a time. You have to get through Melania to then get to
I
him.
mean, like a
Elden
final
Beast and
boss
Radagon.
situation.
Boss rush?
Radagon, Elden Beast type
Mhm.
thing. That would be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
If they did it right.
they did it
I
right.
would not want to fight a two-phase
Melania.
Melania after I fought Mikola. Like
I don't like.
I would not
Melania's
like a
second phase
three-phase
anyway.
fight. That does not sound fun.
I actually don't like Melania's second phase. I don't think. I much prefer her in full battle armor.
Yeah.
I feel like she's
Versus when she
she's
finally
easier the second phase in my opinion.
embraces the rot.
Yeah.
I
And
think
it
it's
looks
because she
cooler.
does less of those waterfowl dance attacks when she's in second phase because she flies
She
around a lot
blooms.
and she
Mhm.
does that bomb attack.
Yeah. She does.
She
that
does
blooming
waterfowl
or
dance
whatever.
over and over again in first phase where she's just constantly
Stealing your health.
The most undodgeable. You literally just have to full sprint away.
I usually, if I am fighting her, I'll get like a 100% physical damage shield, and I just swap to that whenever she's about to. And it negates most of it.
She still life steals though when she hits the shield.
Yeah,
which is
but
annoying.
not significantly enough to where I feel like I'm deterred too much. Like I've never seen her go that far back. So
to recover.
she recovers way more life if she's actually damaging you versus you blocking it.
Mm.
I think there's actually statistics on that.
I
that prove
kind of
that.
like the idea of the life steal for that boss because then it does incentivize you to not use your mimic. Because
No.
I don't think I summon mimics for that fight just simply because it's she's just gonna life steal off of them and it's gonna be a nightmare.
Yeah,
Eh,
I
me and my mimic outdamaged her life steal.
yeah.
Double bonk,
Yeah.
I'll never forget.
bonk bros.
I had my mimic when I beat her for the first time, and she had just done that rot bloom thing,
Yep.
and my mimic didn't give a fuck. He ran right in there and was just fucking her up.
Dude, I want to know how much health or defenses mimics have.
They have to have so much.
My guy, because he's in full bull goats,
Yeah.
that fucking guy can tank anything for days. You're
Right.
like, I just fought Radon in this playthrough. I'm pretty sure he face tanked his meteor, and it took maybe 5%.
Just standing.
He doesn't have a shield. He just stood there and took it.
There's that meme. It's like my Elden Ring character, and it's that one derpy looking dog. And it's like my mimic, and it's that buff one.
Well, where can people find us, Dylan?
They can find us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, where hopefully you're watching us
Woo!
right now, as well as Spotify or any podcast listening
That's right.
platform under our podcast.
That's right.
Katie Ratio.
Game of the year, Elden Ring. Congratulations. That was, I think, in our hearts, in my heart. It was my game of the year. Not.
We didn't even talk about the reveals.
Oh my God. Well, we'll have to do it
We'll
on the
do
podcast.
that in the podcast.
We will do that in the podcast. Be sure to listen, guys, and Merry Christmas if we don't see you again or hear from you again. Bye, guys.